Zedric.
What kind of fucking bullshit is like?
Dude, he does this every week.
The bad news is that civilization is crumbling around you.
Wear a dog mask, cut your dick off, bomb Palestine.
The good news is that you are not alone.
There's butthole shaving videos.
Feel bad for the minorities in LA for having to deal with the white people in LA.
You have 5 till midnight, live every Monday at 8 p.m. where you join 5 Limp Bizkit Americans to laugh at the absurd nonsense of the end of history.
Shit show right there.
Sam, stop it!
And welcome back, everybody, to 5 till midnight, your favorite Monday night show. We got some interesting topics, and I managed to avoid this topic up until yesterday. And then, of course, now it's going to be like a full-on fire hose of talking about Elon becoming the next Genghis Khan. Although, you know what? I can't imagine Genghis Khan was like autistic, or at least like anywhere near as autistic as Elon. But maybe I'm wrong.
Real quick, we started on time without Sam. Just for the record, for anybody out there who always bitches us for not starting on time, realize the factor right now. We started on time. Wonder what the fucking issue is always. Anyway, yeah, Elon's plowing. Huh?
He's just autistic, or Genghis Khan was just autistic about killing. Elon Musk is just autistic. So
yeah, I don't know. He must have like a breeding fetish because he's just dumping loads and everything he touches.
That's just called being a man.
Well, yeah. So like, that's what I mean. I saw a bunch of people saying that. I'm like, no, I think like dudes, if they felt like they could economically do it, and like obviously including if they want kids, because not everyone wants kids, but like if a guy could, you know, have a whole bunch of kids like that and felt like he could afford them and care for them, I think most guys would be like, yeah, man, like that. That's,
well, I mean,
that's
awesome. That's what guys have historically done. It was either that or because half of them didn't make it through to 10 years old. So it was like you had as many as fucking possible.
Yeah, kids dying of the rickets back in the day was a real problem.
I wonder if Elon, if Elon set up like his brain chip to like set him back 1,000 years, and that's why he like sleeps on the floor and stuff, is because he thinks he lives like 1,000 years ago. So that's why he has all these kids, and you know, kind of just sleeps on the floor, and
that's why he wants to go to Mars. He wants the rugged terrain all over again.
Yeah, maybe.
Sam is currently with the Eagles organization, not visiting the White House because they're all liberal Sam.
Liberal fucks.
Lib Sam. Shit lib Sam. That's what he is. And he bailed like literally 25 minutes for the show. He's like, I can't make it. It's like, okay. That's where he is. Yeah, like no, like Typo was saying off air before we started, like no one in real life gives a fuck about like the Ashley St. Clair thing. Like at all. She also typical like money grubbing, like now she did it but 5 months ago. Yeah, grifter.
She was mad because she was digging on red pill guys like a year ago and saying, no, I don't like this whole, all these guys are misogynist. I'm not all about it. But then, now all of a sudden when men can actually do something for her, specifically like when it came time for the election, I could not stand all these women who just want to finger wag and tell guys what to do. Like, no. If I want to go vote, I'll go vote. It's not up to women to tell me what the fuck to do. If dudes want to go vote, dudes will go vote. But we don't need you fucking dumb hens who finger wagging telling us what to do. I wanted to use another word, but I know that might not be YouTube friendly.
If Blair White could have Alex Jones's kids, he would have already. But
speaking of, I mean, slightly not off, it's kind of off topic, but please tell me you guys have seen the Steve Smith Sr. debacle over the weekend.
I have.
I have not.
You have not?
So Steve Smith Sr. was a prolific wide receiver in the NFL.
Very good.
He played on Carolina, played on the Ravens, played on a couple other teams. And he's been retired and worked at, what is he on Fox or
Fox.
Is he on?
I think it's Fox. It doesn't matter.
Dude, Fox is going crazy. Fox is going crazy right now. People are just fucking making baby noises at Fox, dude. They're just baby making noises at Fox. They're just killing it. But apparently, some dude caught Steve Smith fucking his wife.
Yeah,
and called him out on a phone call and then all over Twitter.
Yeah, he made a real big Twitter thread on it. Like he even filmed himself calling him and being like, "You fuck my wife," and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
So this is some of the exchange between him and this chick. take me deep down your throat like you kind of like
Christ.
you wanted to suck me off. I did. I would have gagged on it, but I had to come home. Gross. You enjoy it. You like to feel it. I like feeling it deep in my wet pussy. Me too. Letting you taste it, though, would be such a turn on. I would have shot my nut all inside your pussy. I love making you come. I enjoy it more when you come inside of me. Then he goes, noted.
Noted. Noted is so savage.
I know. And then, it's rough, dude.
There's a rule that me and some of the Manosphere guys talk about. It's called the billboard rule. And it basically goes, don't ever text anything that you wouldn't want to end up on a billboard. And it's a pretty good rule to live by. Because
there's that text message exchange, and then there's this one. Elon Musk to Ashley Sinclair. I get credible death threats every day. I'm number 2 after Trump for assassination. Wake up. This is not the time for sentiment. The expense of safety at the expense of safety. If I make a mistake on security, the kid's name will never know his father. That's why the father spot on his birth certificate is blank right now. And why he has my last name. Necessary for now. Only the paranoid survive. Dude, Elon Musk is wild, dude.
I mean, this has been a weekend of just hookups, cuckoldery, and abandoning children, dude. It was a wild fucking weekend for that. Like,
did you
crazy?
This one where it's a picture of Ashley St. Clair and some other girl. She sends it to him, and then he's like, "Hi, cutie," and then she replied, "Hi, see you soon." And he's like, "I want to knock you up again."
By the way, such an autistic response. Like, that is such an autistic response.
I want to knock you up again.
Oh, that's the other good Steve Smith text when the chick was like, "Oh my God, your dick is so big you could tear my IUD out."
Oh my God.
And then like this guy posted all this and the video phone call, and people were like, "Hey man, you should probably delete this." And the guy wound up nuking his account, like he deleted everything, but too late. You know, internet lives on forever.
Yep, internet's forever.
Yeah, but wild. That's a wild thing. I remember I tweeted that out. I was like, I would burn down orphanages if that was like before I let that out publicly. Like if if a football player was banging my wife, like there's no way ever I'm letting that fucking be into the context of life, dude. That's crazy. Luke,
it was pretty fucking wild. Yep. Yeah, it was pretty fucking wild. The whole weekend was just people fucking and Ashley St. Clair making herself look crazy.
Yeah.
And then
one of my favorite things.
Then it was like all of a baby trap. Like it was a baby trap.
Yeah, it was. It literally was. It was like not Trevor Bauer, the other dude. When she was
Rex. She is.
When check
out Sex Lab.
Yeah, she essentially is a porn. Yeah, she essentially is. But that chick who was like, "Oh yeah, I want to take this guy for all of his money," and then she's like she was texting her friend. I think it might have been Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, it was Trevor Bauer.
It was right when she was texting his friend. Like she was texting her friend, like, "I'm gonna take this guy for all his money," and he's like, "He beat and raped me." And it turns out it was all bullshit. And they're like, "Well, these texts say otherwise." Stop. Are people just that retarded? Like, stop texting your crimes or like your. Like, it's
yeah. Well, you know what? I remember when Andrew Tate was first kind of going down, and who knows if he's going to go to prison or not. He like admits on all his training videos that he like trafficked people, and people are like, "Oh, the Matrix is against me," but it's like, "Oh, well, all they got is thousands of hours of you incriminating yourself to go off of."
Yeah,
I saw a TikTok on Twitter. It was like some chick crying over like all the Doge cuts, and she's like, "I haven't paid taxes in 8 years," and then one of the new hires was like, "Noted, we're putting that in the book. We're gonna investigate you for tax fraud." How fucking dumb are you, you fucking idiot? Stop saying crimes you did.
Yeah, like why would you admit to a crime on camera and like record it? Like these girls who record themselves crying, it's like, well, obviously they're doing it for attention, but like, why would you admit that you broke the law live? Like, I understand if it was like years ago, like, hey, when I was 19 years old, I was drunk or something like that, but to like should admit like you committed tax fraud or something like that. It's like, all right,
they're gonna come after you for that.
It's like, go ahead, like, good for you, but Don't say it out loud, dummy.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't like oh, you should pay your taxes argument. This is like you're retarded for saying that out loud argument.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
Well,
crazy.
it's like, do we believe that paying the income tax is fucked up, unconstitutional, and theft? Yeah,
Yes.
but you should still probably pay your income taxes so you don't go to jail.
Right.
yeah,
I don't want to be in a prison cell because I didn't pay my taxes. It's like that's one of the dumbest reasons to go to jail. I was like,
well,
just, like,
and you know,
not
like
do
for
that.
the most part, most people probably don't go to jail, but you just get fined and you still have to pay your taxes. Like you're double fucking
I don't
yourself.
know, Luke.
Right
I've heard like you definitely go to prison for that. Like
it's
even if you were willing to pay it back.
Usually the people that go to prison are like they've done it a few times, they're embezzling money, and they've been caught like multiple times not paying their taxes.
Remember the situation went to prison for that? Mike, the situation with the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. And a lot of people in that case said or thought that they were like actually throwing the book at him because of who he was. Like most people with the same situation with him as the situation, he that they normally didn't get put in prison, but because of who he was and how he was known, they decided to, which is kind of fucked.
They're like, no more Jersey Shores, please.
Yeah,
dude, like
we gotta save the country, bro.
Dims would use that to go after like anybody. So like,
yeah,
if you were like an enemy of the regime, they're gonna like find anything. And
didn't they do that with Al Capone?
Yeah, that's how they took him down.
It's basically find me the man, I'll find you the crime. But
right.
I was thinking, I know I've ranted about this on the show before, but so the person who stole my tax return check, you committed a federal crime for $480. Like, at least if you're gonna steal someone's check, make sure it's at least like $1,000. But like, I ain't committing no federal crime for $480. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Did they ever get that person?
No way they did. There's no way they did.
They didn't catch him, Kyle?
Oh no, God no. I wish.
Oh, here we go. From Texan spy historian. Dude, they put Dr. Dino. Don't know who that is, by the way, but that's a great name. Dr. Dino in prison and didn't allow the Constitution in the courtroom. Dumb of these people to become lightning rod. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Who the fuck is Dr. Dino?
Yeah, now I gotta look that
up. He's that American evangelical. He's
he sounds like a supervillain.
Oh, well, I've seen his videos before. Yeah. He's just like
Kevin Hovind.
Kent Hovind. Yep, he just pulled it up. Yeah. Kent Hovind.
He's a tax protester. Oh, this dude already sounds based. His young earth creationist ministry focuses on denial of scientific theories in the fields of biology, geophysics, cosmology in favor of a literalist interpretation of the Genesis creation narrative found in the Bible.
Huh. How much time do you spend in prison? Like they probably give him like 20 years. Like something crazy.
He's still in prison.
Yeah. Well, depending when he get arrested, he might be.
Well, so you guys know.
Years.
Okay.
10 years?
2007.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm sure everybody obviously knows who Peter Schiff is. Well, his dad ended up dying in prison because of neglect from the prison guards. Like he had, I want to say it was like pancreatic cancer or something like that. And the guards never like gave him proper medical care, but he was originally thrown in prison for not paying income taxes because he even went before court and he did have the correct constitutional interpretation of like why it's unconstitutional to pay an income tax, but they still fucking threw him in jail for it.
Well, it's like those arguments when like, people get pulled over by the cops and like, I constitutionally know how to carry a driver's license. Like, yeah, I may agree with you, but like, you're gonna get it. They're not gonna. They're not gonna. Be like, okay.
That's always been my thing. It's like I love when they get out of it because I'm like, hey, good for you, dude. You basically threw so much information at that cop was just like, this guy might be right. Fuck this. I'm not dealing with it. But like half the time, it's like, bro, this cop has no idea what you're fucking saying, and he's gonna take your ass to jail. Like,
yeah, he's gonna break your window and drag you out your car. By the way, as a former pig myself, there were situations where somebody was such a problem, like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. Yeah, this is not worth it to me. Like, I'm just gonna walk away, and you can go about your day.
So it was probably almost 10 years ago now, but I had a white Cobalt and I put in a ditch, and I remember because my family is really good friends with the tow truck company. Obviously. So we called the tow truck driver. He comes up. He's like, all right, you stand on that grate, put your thumb up. I'm going to take a picture of you. I'm going to send it to your dad. And then let's get this car the fuck out of here because I want to have to file a police report. Kind of like that. I'm guessing that's probably like how some cops look at some situations like, this is just too much paperwork. I'll just let him off with a warning, and I'm walking away.
I always
almost
tell
got
this story.
stabbed.
Go ahead.
I almost got stabbed to death off of that. Off of me trying to be nice. I almost got stabbed. Ever tell that story?
No.
Real quick. It was like I worked midnights, so like this was like 7:15 in the morning. Was like a hit and run accident, but the guy just hit a bunch of parked cars, right? So like no one got hurt. So like insurance has to pay that out anyway. Like it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so we get there, the guy's gone. He ran away. I'm like, I was probably just drunk, but like if I don't want to have to like take his car and do all the paperwork for this, so if I could just find him, bring him back to like the car. Sorry, my computer making weird noise. Bring him back to the car and just have him like sit there for the car and have it be towed. I can just give him like the receipt for the car and be like, listen, you're fucked. Your insurance has to pay all this out. I'm not going to take you to jail because you didn't hurt anybody. Because that's the only real difference, right? Is if you hurt somebody, then you got to go to jail. But he didn't. So my partner stayed at the scene to keep doing all the paperwork. We ran his plate. He came back to like 2 blocks away. I drive up there. I knock on the front door. Some old woman answers the door, and she just goes, "Hi, my son is destroying my house." I go, "I don't know what the fuck that means." And as she says that, this dude was like 6'5", like 250, like not in shape 250, like a fat 250, but still a big boy. He goes, "Mom, move." He pushes mom out of the way and comes in with like a fucking giant knife. Like a giant fucking knife.
Oh my god!
And I was like, I could kill this guy right now. I'd be totally justified. I was like, that's more paperwork I don't want to have to do. So it's like, so I wound up like kind of just walking down the stairs and kind of like retreating and pulling out on him. And then I talked him into dropping the knife. And then I talked him into half cuffing him. And I got one cuff on, and then he decided like, oh, I don't want to go to jail. Yeah. And I put this over the radio already, but everybody was like already back at the precinct, and they had to fight morning traffic to get to me. So it was like I was on my own, and my partner had no idea what was going on.
All you, bud.
Yeah,
all you,
pretty much. So he tried to punch me, but I know MMA, and I've been fighting for a while, so I fucked this guy up. And as soon as I cuff him, everyone shows up, and I'm like, got it. Handled. Don't need
it's already done. Anymore. Thanks for the help, boys.
But by me going on my way to just try to be like, just come back to your car, I almost get stabbed to death. So don't be nice, I guess, sometimes. Maybe be the asshole. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and we were watching what were we watching? Oh, we were watching OJ Simpson's new documentary that just came out on Netflix this weekend. And he goes in like when he's first arrested, or when he first gets they question him, and I'm like, every time, I don't care if you did it or not, like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just like, even if you're innocent, fucking lawyer up, dude. Like no fucking shit. Lawyer up instantly. I'm not saying anything until I get a fucking lawyer, because it doesn't matter if you're fucking right, wrong, indifferent. They're going to, if they think it's you, they're going to go after you. And that's all that fucking matters.
My advice for anybody out there, if you are drunk driving, even a little, refuse to blow and refuse everything. Yeah, they'll suspend your license. You ain't going to jail, though. I mean, you might go that night, but you won't get convicted. Like, you will get taken in, but who gives a fuck? Like, they can't prove anything.
Adam, I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to show this on YouTube. But
wait, what is this? Oh, it's on Twitter? Probably, yeah. You're fine. Oh, this video. I know this video. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of what that reminded me of.
Whatever. Oh, God.
Oh, maybe not, because this is music. If you can find this video without the edit.
No, I don't think the music will get it struck. Shouldn't.
Yeah, this lady.
Yeah, this fucking, yeah.
Dude, this was wild.
The music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when this came out, everybody was like, oh, this black lady was killed by cops or whatever. And it was a whole ordeal. And then it was like, the video comes out and they're like, yeah, she deserved it.
Yeah. He should have dumped the clip. I mean, the magazine.
He should have dumped the whole
magazine in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
he's still trying not to shoot.
I don't know.
He's already been slashed.
Pausing. I'm not even pausing that.
Yeah, it's just, you might be your internet, but yeah, no, it's in my, like, genuinely in my situation, like, I already made a decision in my brain. I was like, I went down the because there was stairs. So yeah, so I went down the stairs. I was like, if he keeps coming at me, I'm just gonna fucking shoot him. Like I'm not dealing with this fucking knife. Like but the fact he second guessed himself too. Like he stopped at the top of the stairs, up to the bottom, and I had my gun out by then. He was like, maybe I shouldn't keep going.
Yeah, that'll make you.
Maybe this is a bad idea.
But yeah, that was fucking close. Oh, Stash said her alma mater had a memorial tweet for her.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
of course they did.
The one cop story I tell that happened to me recently, I guess it's been a couple years now, but it was on Thanksgiving. Literally, I was going over to my girlfriend's house and I got pulled over, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why am I getting pulled over? Like, I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything crazy." This cop pulls me over and he comes up and he's like, "License and registration." And I was like, "What are you pulling me over for?" And he's like, "Well, I thought that your tags were expired because I couldn't see it all the way. And it looked like you didn't have any tags on your license plate." And I was like, "Well, when you got out of your car, did you see that there was tags and that they were okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I saw that they were there and that you're good for the next year." And I was like, "Yeah, so why do you need my license and registration?" And he looked at me and he was like, "Have a good day, man." And I was just like, "You're frustrated with me? Like, I didn't pull you over, asshole. Like, you saw that you were wrong. You could have come up to the window and been like, 'Hey, man, pulled you over because I thought you didn't have tags. My bad. You're good to go. See you later.' But no. You proceeded to just be license and registration fucking guy. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to tell me why you pulled me over. And then when I asked you told me, and I answered sarcastically because it was a dumb reason to pull me over. And you're going to be annoyed at me? Like, fuck you, dude. It's Thanksgiving. Go fuck yourself."
Also, if you're a dude who gets pulled over, and just look sad and be like, "I'm going through a divorce right now." That might get you out of it. Just try that. I have a lot of tricks to the trade.
Did that work on you, Adam?
I don't need it. I have a get out of jail free. I have my police ID still. I just fucking I hand that over. If I get pulled over, I hand out my license over. They go, "Have a good day, man." I go, "You too, man."
Sometimes the veteran on my license gets me out of shit, but not.
It goes both ways. Like, you either get fucking they hate you because you're a veteran, or they fucking love you because you're a veteran. Because there was one cop
that are cops.
Right, that's what I was gonna say, Typo. It's right, and they're like, "I'm disappointed in you," and you're like, "Shut up."
Yeah, dude.
Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, Typo got pulled over on his way home from work one time. They arrested him, or they didn't arrest him, but he got pulled over on his way home from work, and they wanted him, like, DUI, wasn't it? They suspected you had a DUI.
No, it's because my tags were expired.
Oh yeah, your tags were expired. But the fucking his car was your car a little messy? Your trunk was messy or something like that.
Yeah, my trunk was kind of messy. Yeah.
The other dude was a Marine, and the reason why they opened his trunk was because he had his gun on him. So they took apart his pistol, put it in his trunk, but before they left, and while he was like sitting there talking to Typo still, he was like shitting on him because he was a Marine and his trunk was dirty.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, just arrest me at this point. I'd rather get arrested than listen to this fucking speech.
Yeah, I'd rather get arrested.
That's so funny.
I'd be like, "Oh, damn, dude, you're a cop now? I didn't know you were such a faggot. Like, they must have hated you in the Marine Corps. What were you, an MP douchebag? Like, go fuck yourself." Like, I'm a problem though. Like, I just have a mouth on me. Like, I can't help myself. Especially, like, I'm almost always polite. Like, usually I'm polite, but I just give people's energy back to them like twofold. So if you're going to be condescending and a dick to me, like, I'm going to be a condescending and a dick to you back twice as much. But it always gets me in trouble because usually the people that are condescending and being a dick to me have some sort of authority over me in the situation that I'm in.
Yeah, it's a problem.
I can't help it though.
It's again, law enforcement, military, it's all the same shit. It's like, if you have somebody telling you what to do and you're like, "I could physically beat you up," it's hard to listen to them. If you know you can fuck someone up, you're like, "Let's listen to you because I have to." You know that. You fucking know that.
There's this dumb little spot on our highway in Phoenix that if you it only takes you this route sometime, like when it's fucking middle of rush hour traffic in the morning or middle of rush hour traffic in the afternoon. And it comes on like over the highway and then it puts you into the HOV lane first. Like that's the on ramp.
Yeah.
But it like I don't drive on that side of town all the time. And so this one time I was like trying to head back to my job after going to one place. And I was coming back and it took me this route and I didn't realize it until I was already like coming up to, and you can't, there's like no way to get out of it once you're going to it. So like I already pulled up and it was like, I was like, fuck, I'm getting on the HOV lane and it's the middle of rush hour traffic, which is when you're not supposed to drive in the HOV lane. And there's an off ramp from the other side of this HOV lane coming the opposite way on the westbound side. So right as I'm passing to turn left to go down this on ramp that goes into the HOV lane, there's a cop that comes up on the westbound side and just like he sees me. I look over and I'm like, fuck, that's a cop. He sees me see him and just stares at me as I make this left turn to go down this because I can't turn around. There's no like U-turn spot.
Yeah.
Go down and he just follows me and flips his lights on. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like I didn't mean to.
Highway in New York, highway patrol. So going into the battery tunnel, whatever it's called now. I don't know if I know what it's called now. But there's like certain lanes where it's like for a certain occupancy of people. Highway patrol will literally stand like out on foot and look at people coming through, and they'll radio to whatever other car is like right down the road and be like, yeah, like, yo, blue Honda only has one person in it, should have 4. It's like that's how fucking petty it is in New York fucking city, dude.
Dude, I was so pissed. He was like, "Did you know that?" And I was like, "Man, I was just following my maps. I didn't know it was gonna take me to the HOV lane. I thought it was taking me to an on ramp. I was literally just following my maps. It doesn't say that it takes me to the HOV lane. And thankfully, I got let off. But he was also a Marine and was stationed in Okinawa. And I made a joke, and he was there after us. But I was like, he was like, "Oh, what camp were you on?" And I was like, "Camp Hansen." He was like, "Oh, I was down on Foster." And I was like, "Oh, so you're admin?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, fucking poke.
All the fucking admin were on Foster, dude.
Yeah, it was funny because he said yeah so sadly, dude. Like, he was like
just go.
Yeah. Thankfully he didn't even give me a warning. He was just like, "Hey, get out of here." Well, I guess he gave me a warning, but not like a written warning. The cops in Phoenix, dude, they're rough. They're fucking rough out here. They're assholes. They're some of the worst cops in.
You guys want to talk to get out of the cop talk? You guys want to talk about like the UN vote that happened where we just voted with Russia and North Korea and stuff like that?
No, what? I missed that. What the fuck?
So there was apparently a vote at the UN where basically like it was to condemn Russia, and you would have thought that the US would have voted, to condemn Russia, but they didn't. And I think it was, I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it was like 70 countries voted to not condemn Russia and 18 voted to condemn it. Correct me if I'm wrong here. One of us should have the article pulled up, but that's the general gist of it.
Let me see. Newsun.org. Ukraine war. Amid shifting alliances, General Assembly passes resolution condemning Russia's aggression. The resolution tabled by the United States, which omitted. Let me make sure this is from today.
It should be because it was circulating around today.
Hours later, the first to do so since the resolution tabled by the United States, which omitted mention of Russian aggression, only passed after a majority of member states voted to add EU-led amendments, which led to U.S. abstaining on its own motion and voting against the Ukrainian text. Let's see how many people. The result was in favor. UN General Assembly adopts resolution advancing a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace in Ukraine, calls for de-escalation, early cessation of hostiles, and peaceful resolution of the war against Ukraine. Result in favor 93, against 18, abstain 65. So
it just sounds like
I guess
a certain side wants to just keep funding the meat grinder, and a certain side is like, stop.
Well, I did see a video of all of them like showing up to wherever it was taking place, and fucking little Zelensky's ass was at every single person that like showed up, like shaking their hands and saying hello. And people were like, God damn, this fucking Ukraine shit is insane.
No, I'm with Milmark on this. I don't give a shit what the UN says either. I would just bring up a point that had to do with the.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to
Blue
the
helmets
US
get
and
sick.
Russia.
Right.
They want this war to end. Like,
Yeah,
else
what the
has to get
fuck is what the fuck is anybody else gonna do? Like, it's not like Europe's like England's leading the charge on.
You see, they said they might send troops over there, which okay,
yeah.
Well,
once again,
your sons die on foreign soil for nothing. You fucking.
I think what it kind of looks like it's getting set up for is that basically Trump's going to walk away from it, either that or send him some minor aid every here and there, as long as we're getting minerals from there. But I could potentially see Trump basically saying like, all right, well, you know what? We're washing our hands of it. If Ukraine wants to fight, that's on them, but we're walking away at this point. And then probably the EU and Canada might still continue to try and do something. But for the most part, they're probably, exactly. They're probably going to be like, well, why isn't the US helping anymore? It's like, well, we were all kind of blood dry for what? To kill, probably 1 million people total. And
did you see
benefit? That's the whole shit lib like drone argument where it's like, you guys want Ukraine to. I go, no, they should fight for themselves. I agree. I'm not saying they shouldn't fight. I'm saying we shouldn't be involved as a nation because it's 5,000 plus miles away. I don't give a fuck what happens to Ukraine and Russia. I don't give a fuck what happens to Israel and Palestine. It's like, I don't care. It's irrelevant to America. I care about the border and people being murdered and raped. That's what I care about. I don't give a shit about Ukraine or Russia for that matter. I don't care.
Yeah. I was, it's funny. I was talking to my mom and she was like, I saw this thing about, she was like, I don't remember what we were talking about specifically, but she was talking about how she was trying to find where things started to like look a little crazy for the United States, like before all this. And like in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And she was like, I think it was the 80s. I saw this graph. And I think we were talking about health. And I was like, 1971. And she was like, and I was like, everything 1971. And I was like, look at it's all. I was like, typing on your phone. I was like, what happened in 1971? And I'm pretty sure something's gonna pop up on your phone and says, what the fuck happened in 1971? And it's going to have like a whole bunch of charts and graphs that said all this shit flipped in the United States.
It's so crazy because it's like birth control readily, available access to credit cards.
The 60s, man. The 60s were crazy change for the country.
Well, and it was,
not just the country. I mean, the birth control stuff, I mean, that changed the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just go with that and then going off the gold standard, once again, allowing women and people at large to gain access to credit cards and stuff like that really changed the world. And like, I don't think we'll ever understand just how massive that really was for a long time, because for most of human history, that stuff was not the case. Specifically, like the birth control stuff, that was not the case until now.
Yeah. That was huge. And I think I've argued with some people that really believed that, Trump winning this time is like, it's been women that I've argued with this about.
Not like arguing a wall, Luke.
Well, in a way, but I made them realize something. And I was like, what do you think the biggest like driver of the government is? Like, what do they do that, like, how do they control people? Do you think they do it through legislation? And usually it's like, yes. And then I was like, you think it's through legislation and you don't think it's through like money or monetary policy. And they're like, well, I kind of see it as more that than just legislation. And I was like, exactly. And I was like, why? One long woman moment since 1971. But I was like, why do you think? Because their biggest argument was, or some of their biggest fears was, with Trump winning again and with some of the moods towards women or whatever that they feel from Trump and Trump's people is like, or like his supporters, is that we're going to end up, we're on the we're on one step of many steps back toward Handmaid's Tale.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like I don't understand that, first off. And I was like, I'll tell you why. I was like, women, they're not going to get rid of 50% of their tax base. Like, I was just like, that right there eliminates everything that you like. I'm telling you right now, there's no way in hell that they would eliminate 50% of their tax cattle just because they hate women so much. And I was like, it's just not going to happen. Like, it would be insane. What we want to happen, I was like, what I would want to happen is women leave the workforce voluntarily because they find other things to be like a part of, that they want to be a part of, whether it's fucking charity events or being stay-at-home moms or whatever. I was like, that's what I would want, because it would freak them the fuck out. It would freak the bureaucracy as a whole out if that started happening, if they just started leaving in droves. And I was like, but they're not going to force you out. They're not going to, because they would lose 50% of their tax base right away. And some of them get it and some of them don't. And it's just crazy to me that's a fucking thought process.
Well, and kind of to your point as well, is that Trump's not really some insanely right-wing guy. I mean, if you look at his cabinet, it's incredibly, and I hate to use the left's language here, but I mean, to be honest, it's a very diverse cabinet because he's just not that way. Like, you know, Kristi Noem's the head of Homeland Security, and then you have Kash Patel and Jay Bhattacharya. And, you know, obviously there's some regular white guys, but I mean, there is like a diversity of race and sex amongst the Trump cabinet. If you're looking for a dude who's going to institute the Handmaid's Tale, Trump just is not that guy. He's, you know, obviously like the people that are kind of beneath him and the people that he kind of brings along for the ride are a lot more right-wing than him. But like my read of most governments now always seems to be that like the president tends to be the moderate one, right? Where like even with Netanyahu, with Putin, with Kim Jong-un, even with Z, all these people are like pretty moderate compared to their cabinets, where if like their cabinets are really setting the agenda, they would be a lot more aggressive towards whatever their end goal really is. And that definitely seems true in this specific situation when you have like Elon Musk kind of driving a lot of this now. But it seems like Trump's a little bit more, I don't want to say straightforward, but like a little bit more focused in this time. But I think that's largely because he has such popular support.
Yeah, and it's also a second go around, and he's like, "Oh, I fucked up that first one. I'm gonna go hard."
First one was fucked. Yeah.
Actually, that's a good segue into real quick though, everybody. I know this is gay, but subscribe, like, and shit, please. It fucking helps. We're trying to grow this show. So if you could subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, and like the episode, comment. Anything would be sick.
Yeah, if you subscribe, we heard the last person that subscribed instantly got a girlfriend. So go ahead and subscribe.
Max, even if you're married, you get a side piece. So
man.
We're standard issuing them then.
We will not
get a standard issue Ashley St. Clair.
Yeah. Well,
you get your own
that picture of Ashley St. Clair from the side was wild.
Yeah, you get your own Israeli honeypot if you subscribe to the show.
Your own Mossad spy.
But yeah, please like and subscribe to everything. Thank you. But this segues into all the email demanding what government workers do.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. But by the way, again, very common thing in every type of business or job. Pretty much, you have to prove your worth. Even as a cop, we had like report sheets every month to like show what we did. They're acting like they are slaughtering people by guillotine outside of these buildings. They're like,
I had to do this.
Bro, show what you did.
I'm a little. Maybe I'm the token one on this panel, but I'm a little 50-50 on this because I feel like the people who are like the people
you're going back first.
All right, Sam.
The people who are getting shit done, like the people who are very industrious and working really hard. To them,
it's not going to bother them. It's not going to bother them. Well, 5 minutes of that email, it's not going to bother them one little bit.
The point is that like you're asking them to take time out of their day if they're being productive, and they're probably like, "Well, why the fuck would I have to answer this?" But you know, my retort, because my friend Trey was bringing this up, and I think he had a point. But at the same time, I kind of looked at it as like all these jobs have to go. Like these people have to be fired. And I understand they're even giving them severance packages. I'm not with that at all. I think you just tell these people, sorry, you know, you should have never had this job in the first place. You're gone. like this isn't the taxpayers' problem anymore.
Yeah,
Did you
no,
guys
So
see-
this is my argument against everything you just said. Every now and then I run into a stat from white identitarian corner of the internet that is so ridiculous yet true that if I were to repeat it to my liberal friends, they would accuse me of KKK propaganda. I laugh when I see these because I know within a few years progressives will tweet out the same stat thinking it's somehow a good thing. So there was the picture is NBC News. Much of the black middle class was built by federal jobs. That may change. And that was so the next thing is 65% of black women with university degrees work for the government.
Yeah.
65% work for the government.
Where was
it's like
it?
2
Where is
million or
it?
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not that 65% of workers are black women, but that 65% of all college educated black women are employed by the federal government.
So
There's no other job market for them.
This is going to sound really bad, but I'm going to just let it rip. How many black kids are just being completely supported by the government then?
All of them.
Like I hate to just put it that blatant, but I mean, if 65% of black women are voting for are working for the government,
College educated.
College educated black women, I apologize. College educated people, from my understanding, and I haven't looked at these stats in quite a while, but they're more likely to be divorced, and black women already have a ridiculously high, single motherhood rate. So how many of these kids are just living off of taxpayers? Like that's, I'm sorry, that's kind of a 100%. That's a fucking problem. It sounds shitty, but I mean that is a fucking problem.
Yeah,
I also agree with this. It's a 2 5-minute email. We had daily requirements in war. I think they can find the time here in the States.
Well, okay,
in the
so
AC with
my retort to this, and like this kind of goes to the whole being a technician deal. My dad and I say this all the time, where it's like if the entire world went flat rate overnight, the whole world would change because you're no longer paid to just punch a clock. You have to be productive or else you do not get paid.
Absolutely.
So like, there should be objective markers to assess how somebody's being productive or if they're being productive. And I understand there's also going to be jobs where it's kind of like if you are in a management position, and there are some necessary management positions, it's kind of hard to like judge your performance there.
Yes.
But
that's
for
not
the
the
vast
majority,
majority,
though. Right.
Yeah. But like I said, for the vast majority, you need to have some kind of objective markers of performance, and people need to be able to see that you're being productive, because if you're not being productive, especially when you're being paid by taxpayers, then like, why are you getting a salary? You should be fired.
So like right here, Senator John Curtis from Utah was among the members of Trump's party who had concerns. If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion on this. Curtis, whose state has 33,000 federal employees, said on Face the Nation, these are people, these are lives, these are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say we have to cut you and to be cruel and to do as well. No, you don't.
Okay, but what's more cruel? What is more cruel? The fact that someone's going to be out of a job, or the fact that this person is taking money from the private sector, which could go to, families or something like that, and also is increasing our debt, which is going to be passed on to our future generations? You tell me which one is more cruel.
That's the biggest thing.
And well, I was gonna say, how many tweets or posts have you seen in the last week about I'm a junior forest ranger and I wanted my whole life to be on Mount Suck My Balls, and it's and now I got it's your job is to open and unlock a gate. Shut the fuck up. Why are we paying you money? It's crazy.
Yeah, and if there's one department I don't want them to touch as much, it would be the Bureau of Land Management or whatever that sector, because they actually do a lot of really good things of keeping the national parks and things like that. It's probably the only land management or the only government program that actually does what it's supposed to do and does it significantly well.
Yeah, it's actually funny because in the West Coast, a lot of farmers and stuff have a very favorable view of BLM. We're on the East Coast, not so much.
Have you seen the East Coast parks?
Yeah,
it's nothing. So here you go. So some federal agencies aren't complying. Ed Martin, the interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, sent his staff a message Sunday that may cause more confusion. Martin noted that he's responded much order. Let me clarify. We will comply with this OPM request, whether by replying or deciding not to reply. Does make sense. Martin wrote in the email obtained by the AP referring to the Office of Personal Management, please make a good faith effort to reply unless your activities or not as you prefer. Again, that's dual messaging. And I will, as I mentioned, have your back regarding any confusion. It's like
you're causing confusion.
You're causing confusion, right?
Am I doing this or am I not?
No employee is obligated to report their activities outside of the department chain of command. It's like, I like how these guys just make up rules. Like, you understand this isn't you're not a private company. Like, you have to respond to the boss, which in this case is fucking Trump. Like, he runs all the federal shit when it comes down to it, right? It's like what this fucking delusion of like, I don't got to report to the guy who runs my shit. It's like, yeah, you do, buddy.
Yeah. And look, there's like, for me personally, there's compassion to the people that are going to lose their fucking jobs, especially if it's going to be the amount that it seems like it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of fucking people, and it's going to cause or create a difficult time for a big portion of the United States. But at the same time, I don't think I know that's the BLM that everybody remembers, and completely understandably.
Which Rex, good point, but I think that's a one in
it's when it's weaponized, it's not
right
good.
Of course, that's like anything else. I think the point is overall it's better, but that was a bad one.
I mean,
so fuck him, you know. It's like,
I to Luke's point, there's just like these jobs should have never been available in the first place.
They should have never been there.
Yeah. And like, this creates a huge liability for future generations. And, you know, I know people kind of like laugh at the debt talk, but I mean, you know, there is a serious problem with that when it comes to affecting how future generations are going to have purchasing power. You know, and if there is a situation where they don't want to default on the debt, which I don't know how they would go about, you know, not defaulting on the debt, because there's no way we're going to pay it. But like, you know, we should have considerations for future generations and what kind of government and world we're leaving them. We can't be like the boomers, right? Where we kind of pick the corpse and then leave a shitty economy and shitty dollar.
Be like, you guys figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the benefits for the boomers, like the Social Security, Medicaid, like that stuff's gonna run like that works for their generation, and that's about it. Maybe some Gen Xers will get use out of it. But I ain't banking on my generation getting that shit, dude.
No, exactly. And that's why, I mean, I've talked about it quite a bit, but like Social Security, they need to have some kind of like opt out for Social Security where younger generations can start to get out of it. Like, I understand if you're like about to retire, I think it'd be kind of fucked to tell that person, yeah, I know you paid into Social Security. Yeah, that money's gone, but you know, you're done. Like, you don't get any retirement. Someone that's like 65, okay, they should get their Social Security.
Dude, I told my parents, I was like, they're in their 40s. We were having this conversation one time.
That's crazy, like, by the way, but go on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude. Tell me about it, bro.
I'm 38, but continue.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, you're what, 30, right?
I'm 31. Yeah.
Holy fucking, your parents are
my mom's 16 years older than me.
That's so what my parents are 70. They turned 70.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude. My parents are my mom's 16 years older than me.
Oh my god. Yeah, my parents are 25 years
I
older.
told them I was one day we were talking about this kind of stuff, and I was like, you know what is gonna have to be at a certain point is that guess what? You're not getting your fucking money. Like, I was like, I'm sorry. Like, and they're like, no, we paid into it for blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I know it sounds bad that I'm saying it like this. I was like, but guess what? There's going to be no money left. We're not having kids at the same rate that you guys were, or well, their parents were, or their parents were. I was like, we can't do it. We can't. We're incapable of providing that type of retirement for you guys, especially when the generations before them, probably your guys' parents' generation, are the ones that were the boomers that like kind of fucked it. You know what I mean?
I think
like
my parents were the tail end of the boomers.
Yeah.
They were 55. I think it ended what, 65? They were like 10. Like you know, they were the tail end of it, but yeah, they didn't help.
but you know what I mean? It's like the oldest generations of Gen X and like the and then all of boomers, like the outliers, and it's like, you guys did all this, like I can't tell you, like, you're not going to get your money because it's not going to come from us, because guess what, our generation is going to start voting like, no, we're cutting it, slash it, slash it.
Yeah, because like, and the boomer, you can even almost blame the boomer. They're the ones that started the sexual revolution. It was the boomers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of the boomers actually didn't go, like,
The hippies, dude.
most of them got married, had kids still. So like, they all, like, because they had parents that like basically strong armed them into doing it.
Like, stop being a dirty whore in Woodstock and go get a house.
The boomers' kids are the millennials, and we're the first generation who like fully experienced the sexual revolution on full fledged. Like, there's no consequences. We have birth control. All this stuff.
Where does Gen X fall into all this?
You guys don't matter, dude.
I'm not Gen X. I'm a millennial.
That's
what I'm saying.
The Gen Xers are the forgotten generation. Most of them are children of boomers, to be honest. Like, a lot of them are children of boomers. The older boomers had the Gen Xers,
and the younger boomers had millennials. Had us. Yeah.
So
and then then a lot of Gen Xers had millennials as well, because of the skyrocketing rates of pregnancy during that time period compared to previous generations. So it's like both. Like, we're a mix, right? Like, millennials are kind of a mix. Like, there's a lot of us that our parents are fucking Gen Xers, and then a lot of our parents are boomers. And so the Gen Xers are kind of, they're called the forgotten generation, because they were keep your head down and work, things will come to you, grew up in the 90s, grew up in the 80s.
Like, none of them have political power. It was the boomers for so long.
That's true. They had the coolest name though for any generation.
So like my brother and I were talking about Social Security over this weekend as well. And it was like, back in the day, it used to be like there were 16 workers for every one retiree. And it was like every generation, it kept getting halved. So, then eventually it was 8, and then now it's 4. And so eventually it's going to be 2. Yeah. So
that's fucking wild.
Yeah. So basically, we're eventually going to get to the point where it's like 1 worker per 1 retiree. And then you have to think, if these people are government workers, then they get pensions. And those pensions sometimes are just as much as our salaries that we're getting today. There's sometimes $60, $70, $80, $100,000 pensions. And like, someone's going to have to tell those people, like, we can't afford to pay you the same way you're being paid. Like, what needs to happen is you cut all Social Security and you let interest rates go up. People are going to default like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then people have to start saving for themselves. But once again, if you saw interest rates go up, people would see their money grow. People would be more inclined to start saving. And then honestly, I do like Trump's idea of actually limiting credit card rates, because charging people 30% for a credit card is
crazy.
Usury. It is fucking usury.
It is usury.
Yeah.
Good point by Rex. They also had slacker culture. Fucking true.
They did. It is true. Yeah. I mean,
also, to Texans Spy, I was born in 86. By the way, typo, fuck you. How old do you think I am? I'm Gen X. You scumbag. 1980 was the start of millennials.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So actually, it was
95.
95
was
the last year.
80 to 95 was millennials.
Yeah, I'm like the
I'm 93. Yeah, I'm 93, but like I still had, that was like the millennials. We had analog childhood and digital.
Yeah, that's
all of us.
That's true. That's true.
Because that's what I
didn't get internet until I was like 12 or 13. AOL was like I was 12 years old, maybe.
I was poor, so I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you guys probably remember. Hey, get off the phone. I want to get on the internet.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, obviously, when I was a kid. One other thing, kind of on like the boomer generation as well, and I think Gen X kind of got to see this as well, is that like from 1970. Like we were talking about earlier, they got off the gold standard. So, I mean, there was this wild expansion of technology, the money supply, and like the entire economy and world was changing so rapidly. And they got to see the benefits, a lot of this stuff, from the 70s up until the 90s. And then the early 2000s is when we started to finally see the consequences with the .com bubble, the housing crash, COVID, and all this other stuff, where basically like now we're kind of seeing the consequences of, complete and total fiscal irresponsibility. Whereas like the boomers and Gen Xers, they already bought houses, they probably paid them off.
Right.
They got to grow up with, you know, a rapidly expanding dollar. So like all their assets they had went way up in price. People of our generation and definitely the younger generation, some of them might not ever own a house. They might just rent for the rest of their lives, and they're never going to see any of their assets expand and grow in value like the boomers and Gen Xers did. And that to me is fucking crazy.
Yeah. So he said that. Yeah, you guys act like Gen Xers. That's the problem.
Fuck you.
That's the problem. That's the difference. That's the difference.
How dare you?
But no, I think that's I think it. I was talking about this too with some people that it was like this is the first, like the last 2 or 3 years we've seen that people in their 30s don't make more money monetary wise, like dollar amount wise, than their parents, but they don't make more money like with what it's
they don't make more.
Yeah,
they don't make more purchasing power.
Yeah, purchasing power, and it's the first time in U.S. history that that's happened, and it's only going to continue to get worse if things don't change. And so that's why it's like, oh, I'm a 90s kid. Cool. Nobody cares. Oh, I'm an 80s kid. Cool. Nobody cares. See how that fucking works?
First of all, I'm technically really a 90s kid. I didn't grow up in the 80s. I was 4 years old when the 80s ended. I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah. I always say I'm a 2000s kid.
Yeah, like I don't relate to the 80s at all. Like I had no consciousness.
See, I was so young that I felt like I know more about 90s stuff. Well, not more about 90s stuff, but I was kind of like a weird in-betweener because all my music is like 90s grunge shit. Like
that's all my shit. Yeah.
All my shit. And then early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, 2002. That's like all my like bread and butter when it comes to music. And a lot of mine were 2000, like all my friends were 2000s, where it was more boy bands and hip hop started getting more mainstream. But for me, it was like all 90s grunge. So that's where I'm just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about you. Born in the 80s kids, you guys think you're so
like it's Texas. Why does Luke seem so butthurt about this? All the best people were in the 80s.
All act the same way. There are differences between millennials. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, there is culturally though. Like that is true. Because it's such a large gap, I feel.
But the whole point, it's not a large gap. Every generational gap is the same.
Probably the same. But I bet you it's the same for every generation, though. Like you have a difference between the first
then
half.
They would just be
half.
different generations. Like that's
no,
what I'm saying.
We don't determine that, but culture does in a way. We're like, okay,
culture,
did you grow up watching SpongeBob?
No.
Yes.
Thank you.
Batman and Robin and fucking.
But my point is,
Justice League.
I was during high school when Harry Potter and shit came out. I didn't give a fuck about that, right? But a few years younger than me are millennials, and that was their whole shit. So culturally, there is a difference.
I mean, I understand that culture. There is a difference,
but
I'm just saying, like, you guys are dying first.
You vividly remember 9/11, dude. All I know about
high school during 9/11, bro.
Like
of course.
I'm a year older than Typo, and I vividly remember 9/11. So just because he doesn't remember 9/11 doesn't mean shit.
You know what I remember? I was born in 94, and I remember 9/11 actually pretty clearly. I remember
Butthead, Ren and Stimpy. Yes, these are all things that I grew up with.
I have them tattooed on me. Wait, how the fuck was Heather in 8th? Oh, wait, no, still, how are you in 8th? If you were born in 87, Heather, and I was born in 86, I was a sophomore in high school during 9/11. That's weird.
I was gonna say she's smarter than you, but then I was like, oh,
wrong. Maybe she probably is, but at least I'm still in a higher grade.
Maybe she had a late birthday. I had a late birthday.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there are differences in the same generation. I'm sure the same thing could be said for boomers and Gen X too. Like I'm sure like the earlier on boomers, like again, my parents are late boomers. I bet you they don't have as much in common with the older boomers.
No,
I don't want the Gen Xers to die right now.
Wait, Heather, what's your birthday? I was born November 86.
Come on. Sorry, I was gonna lie. That one just went.
Sorry, Kyle. I was reading.
That's all right.
Here, let's see what Luke keeps calling out how he likes all the things an 80s kids had. Duh, bro, my little sister and cousin imitated us too. It's the most sincere form of flattery. Thanks.
Well, all my older cousins they're about your age, Adam. So like I did not understand the music they were into, the fucking shows they talked about. I was like, I'm too young for this, I guess.
Yeah, that's a mill market point. Gen Z is reclaiming the racism for the silent generation.
Jesus.
I was born in 88 in 7th grade. Damn, what the fuck schools did you guys go to? That's wild. I was born. Yeah. Yep.
Simpsons were
We're actually good. I remember that too. Yeah, dude. This is, we really triggered a lot of fucking fighting in this chat right now with the age you made.
Yeah, I guess we know the age. Like, we get a lot of listeners at your age, Adam. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. It's fucking. That's the thing too. Not only were they born in 86,
slacker culture. Perfect. They listen to this show.
Not only was I born in 86, I was born in November 28th of 86. It's essentially December almost. Like I was born so late into 86. It does not count. I guess I'm saying I was barely in the 80s.
Yeah. You were like, that's crazy. Born in Germany when the Berlin Wall came down. That's fucking
wow.
wild.
That's awesome.
I do slightly remember news article, like watching the news with my parents about like the end of like the Soviet Union and Russia. Like I don't remember it, but I remember like it being like a thing. Like kind of like how I remember the giant Super Bowl that year.
That was long gone when I was born, dude. Everyone was talking about Muslims when I was growing up. There was no talk about commies, you know?
Nobody talked about commies anymore. How many boomer listeners do you think you have? Probably not.
Probably not many.
Oh, that's my uncle.
No. We got one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So besides Typo's uncle, probably not many, honestly. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That is fucking funny. I bet you it ends at like around my age. Like my age group is probably like the
dude. That's Stash is funny, dude. He's like, now we talk about Muslims and commies.
Yeah.
We had the 80s where they talked about commies, the 90s where they 90s, 2000 they talked about Muslims, and we're in the 2020s. We're talking about Jews, commies, and Muslims. Look at
Heather's just showing off. Yeah, my wife's the same way. She's 2 weeks older than me, and she looks like she's fucking 25. It's infuriating, honestly.
My wife told me she really didn't want me to start shaving my head, even though I do it now, and nobody really cares. But like, I do look way older now that I shave my head and have a beard. I don't.
Yeah, it ages me for sure because I also shave my head and have a beard.
Yeah, the shaved head thing does it. I think it just makes you look a little
100% does. Yeah, my wife, she trashed me all the fucking time. She's like, "You look old." I'm like, "You're older than me."
Yeah, dude, I got full head of hair, baby. Keeping it.
Nope.
Growing it out again.
I'm growing out the beard, so.
Tybo's got a curly headed fucking hair.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a bunch of it.
Yeah, he does.
Mm.
That's Sicilian hair, Typo. Not for nothing. You have Sicilian hair.
It's North African. That's what we call that.
Exactly. You get North African hair.
Very north.
All right, boys. Well,
yeah, it's time to wrap it up. Yeah, little pluggy plugs.
Yeah, go to comic.com. We're playing with this Wednesday, so if you are in the southwestern Pennsylvania area, feel free to come out. And if you can't come see us there, become a channel member and you will get the GoPro footage of that show on my channel for $2.99 a month. And if you don't go to that or into that, then my show this week is going to be with Jason Smith, where we talk about China and kind of his experience living there. So and we kind of go all over about that. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Common on Twitter and Liberty and Health and Common Crown.
Boom. Again, guys, please like and subscribe to this fucking dumb show we do. It makes us laugh and may hopefully make you guys laugh too. So please subscribe to Rumble, YouTube, especially our Twitter account. Follow that. Follow me on Twitter at Adam Nutter. Thanks.
You can find me at Keep It Real Luke. Find our podcast at Biting the Bullet Pod on Twitter and Biting the Bullet Memes on Instagram. It's pretty lit in there. So that's where you can find us.
Follow me on MySpace.
Yeah.
God damn
everybody,
it,
by the way, everybody unfollow Sam on his YouTube channel. If you follow Sam, unfollow Sam and follow us. Make sure you follow us. All right, Kyle, play us out.
All right.